Elon Musk is the world's first trillionaire. For most people, success generally comes through a combination of talent, hard work, and timing. Musk is harder to explain. He has found success more than once and in more than one field. If he lost everything tomorrow and had to start all over again, could he replicate his success? The evidence suggests he could. Musk possesses an unusual, rare combination of 7 qualities that make extraordinary success almost inevitable. The first is an obsessive approach to learning. When he was just 3 or 4 years old, he was already wondering about humanity's place in the universe by asking the profound question, where is the world? At 12, he taught himself to code and built a space-themed video game called Blastar and sold the source code to a magazine for $500. It was a hint of what was to come, building rockets. Musk has no formal training in rocket engineering. He taught himself the fundamentals by reading textbooks and talking to experts. When he founded SpaceX, he challenged the long-held assumption that rockets had to be discarded after a single flight and set out to build one that could be used again and again. In exclusive footage I obtained, Musk explains his mindset to a group of students.
You look at what others are doing, say, well, others didn't make it work, therefore it doesn't work. But that has no basis in reality. A first principles or foundational approach would be to say, let's look at the physics and economics of a rocket and say, if we analyze the physics of the rocket, is it physically possible?
Musk is a brilliant engineer, but there are plenty of brilliant engineers. Intelligence alone doesn't explain his extraordinary success. The second rare quality he possesses is extreme risk tolerance. After his payment company X.com merged with Confinity to create PayPal and eBay bought PayPal, Musk walked away with $180 million. Most people in his position would have kept a large safety net, but Musk went all in. He invested nearly all of it, $100 million into SpaceX, $70 million into Tesla, and $10 million into SolarCity. He later said he even had to borrow money for rent. And in 2008, he nearly lost it all. SpaceX had suffered 3 rocket launch failures, and the company was close to failing. And during the global financial crisis, Tesla was burning through cash and on the verge of bankruptcy. He faced the agonizing choice of trying to save one company or trying to save both. As he told author Ashley Vance, "If I split the money, maybe both of them would die. If I gave the money to just one company, the probability of it surviving was greater, but then it would mean certain death for the other company. I debated that over and over." Most people in that situation would have saved the stronger company. But Musk saw both as his children and chose to try to save both. That gamble paid off. SpaceX's 4th Falcon 1 launch finally succeeded in the fall of 2008.
Stage separation confirmed.
And by the end of the year, a last-minute funding deal came together to save Tesla.
We actually closed the financing round on Christmas Eve 2008. It was the last hour of the last day that it was possible.
Even as his companies were struggling, he had an uncanny ability to spot and attract exceptional talent. Like Tom Mueller, who is best known for designing the Merlin engines that power the Falcon rockets. Mueller had a high-paying career at the major aerospace company TRW and spent weekends building and firing rockets with an amateur group in the Mojave Desert. Musk met him through that community, and at their first meeting, he bombarded him with questions as he worked on an engine. How much thrust does it have? Have you ever made anything bigger? What were its propellant fuels?
When I met Elon, it's like, wow, I'd really like to go do this thing. It's high risk, but it's where I want to be.
Franz von Holzhausen also knew it would be high risk to leave his senior role at Mazda to become Tesla's chief designer. But he did anyway, joining in August 2008 when the future of Tesla was looking bleak. Musk took him for a test drive in the original Roadster and sold him on the mission. As von Holzhausen later recalled to Vance, "I knew I could stay at Mazda for 10 years and get very comfortable, or take a huge leap of faith. At Tesla, there was no history, no baggage. There was just a vision of products that could change the world." Musk hired him on the spot to design the Model S, which had to be iconic. This would be the foundation for the entire Tesla line. But attracting elite talent is half the battle. The 4th quality is the ability to endure extreme suffering and intensity. Musk has maintained a baseline of working 80 to 120 hours a week for decades, including sleeping at his factories during the production hell of producing the Model 3. He has long argued that working extremely hard gives a massive edge.
If other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, you will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve.
That extraordinary mental toughness was forged in a difficult childhood in South Africa, where he was severely bullied at school and says his father, Errol, would often yell at him for hours. When he left South Africa for Canada at age 17, he says his father told him, "You'll be back in a few months. You'll never be successful." That turned out to be spectacularly wrong. He was determined to succeed in North America, but his success didn't come from sticking to one plan. It came from being willing to change it. He didn't start Tesla with a grand vision of autonomous cars or robots. His original focus, unveiled in his master plan in 2006, was to build electric vehicles. First a sports car, the Roadster, then use the profits to build more affordable cars, the Model S and X. Use those profits to build even more affordable cars, the 3 and the Y, while working on clean energy. There was no mention of cybercabs or Optimus. But then the markets changed. EV sales growth slowed sharply after federal tax credits ended. Tesla discontinued its signature Model S and X in 2026 to free up factory space for Optimus. The same flexibility has played out at SpaceX. Although Musk has remained committed to the end goal of reaching Mars, he is now prioritizing missions to the moon first as the most practical step. SpaceX's IPO immediately places it among the world's most valuable companies and has pushed Musk to trillionaire status. But increasing his personal wealth is not the mission. Early on, Musk did enjoy the fruits of his success. When he personally pocketed $22 million after selling his tech company Zip2 to Compaq, he bought himself a $1 million McLaren F1.
There are 62 McLarens in the world, and I will own one of them. It is a moment in my life.
Unfortunately, that moment didn't last. While giving his business partner Peter Thiel a ride, Musk floored it to show off the acceleration, lost control, and destroyed the sports car. But over time, his lifestyle has gotten simpler. Biographer Walter Isaacson shared a rare glimpse of his home, a modest house near Starbase in Texas. His main motivation is making humanity multiplanetary.
To make Star Trek, to make the exciting science fiction futures that we've read about real. And that's what SpaceX is all about, is to take the fiction out of science fiction.
OpenAI CEO Sam Altman once offered a sharp, if somewhat cynical, observation about Musk's drive. Elon desperately wants the world to be saved, but only if he can be the one to save it. Even with all 6 of these qualities, success is still not guaranteed. Extraordinary outcomes also depend on the judgment to recognize and seize opportunities when they appear. Musk founded his first tech company in 1995, right at the beginning of the internet boom. He and his brother Kimball built an online business directory with mapping software years before Google Maps existed. They called it Zip2, as in zip to where you want to go. In 1999, Compaq acquired the company for $307 million. Luck may have opened the door, but it was a combination of these 7 traits that allowed Elon Musk to build at a scale no one else has. That is why he is now the world's first trillionaire. And why, if he lost everything tomorrow, the evidence suggests he could do it all over again. One thing I realized while researching Elon Musk is that great entrepreneurs tend to obsess over their product. That doesn't just apply to rockets or electric cars, but something as simple as shaving. I always assumed irritation was just a part of shaving, but it turns out it's often not about your skin, it's the razor itself. With most razors, the blade sits exposed and can flex slightly as you shave. That tiny instability changes the angle of the blade and creates irritation. Henson takes a completely different approach. Their razor holds the blade rigidly in place, so it stays stable throughout the shave, and you get a noticeably smoother shave. This is real engineering precision at work. And it makes sense when I learned these razors are made in a Canadian machine shop that also built aerospace parts for the International Space Station and NASA's Mars Perseverance rover. Although the razor costs more upfront than a disposable one, the blades themselves are incredibly inexpensive, just a few dollars for a year's supply. If you want to try it out, use my discount code Newsthink and you'll get a pack of 100 blades for free with your razor. My custom link is in the description. Thanks for watching. For Newsthink, I'm Cindy Pom.